Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. At the last Patriot games in January, I had some difficulty seeing at distance. In one stage we shot from 200 yards, there was a big crosswind, and we were shooting on paper, so we didn't have that audible steel feedback of hits or misses. And we had to hit the silhouette. I just couldn't see. I wound up missing, I think, half of the shots, maybe even more. But I decided I had to make a change because I'm just throwing away points. And that setup wasn't the best. It was good. It's good for close-up shots, but it's not good for far-away shots. So I made the change to a Leupold Mark IV HD 2.5-10. So as I mentioned, it's a Leupold Mark IV HD 2.5-10. In all honesty, I do not like the way that LPVOs look. I do not like the straight tube at the front. This one has at least a little bit of flare, and it's just better on the eye for my sanity. And it's a 30mm tube. I went with a Reptilia mount because I may or may not put a red dot up here. I have an extra Trijicon SRO that I may put up here if the 2.5 is too much mag. I don't think it will be, but I have that option, so I did think ahead in that respect. It is Mills versus MOA. I learned in the Mammoth Sniper Challenge that I like Mills better than MOA, even though Corey says that MOA is more accurate or more precise than Mills. I just felt that Mills is better. Not that I'm going to be adjusting for Mills with the Patriot games, but I have the option. So it's a really nice scope. I've got about 200 rounds on it so far. The optic is, or the reticle is just some crosshairs with hash marks. Super simple, not cluttered for the type of shooting that we do in the Patriot games. I've got 3 targets down there on paper. It's a big circle, like an 8-inch circle, and maybe a 4-inch circle or a 4 and a 6. I'm not sure. I downloaded them from T-Rex Arms. So I'm going to take 5 shots at the big circle from back here prone, and then we're going to run up to that barrel, I think you can see it, and shoot all the way mag down at 2.5, just to make sure that that's not too much magnification. So I'll show you the paper at the end. I'm just going to shoot. All right, let's see if we can get this reticle into focus. There we go. So that's what the reticle looks like, and that's 2.5x at 100 yards. So very clean reticle, and it is illuminated where like the middle 10 hash marks will be visible in red. Now that you saw with how clean that reticle looks, we're going to go down and just check the shooting. It's actually pretty good because the zeros for 100 yards, and this closer shot probably 30 or so. It wasn't 50, it was closer than 50. I was definitely over the target initially, so I was aiming at least 2 inches above the circle and just hitting it, and you'll see that on the last one. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one I was aiming here and I was hitting here. This one I was aiming in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we came over here and definitely off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got better with the height over bore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then over here, much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was aiming probably around here, and that's where I was going. So it's a good optic. I like it. You can see clearly, and I could see where my shots are at 100 yards at least because white paper. So We are back at the house and we are going to finish up this review of the Leupold Mark IV HD 2.5-10 with the TMR reticle. This was a fantastic option for the Patriot games and I have no regrets about my purchase, which was made with my own money. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever. The reticle, as you saw earlier, was very clean. And I'll put a picture up right now just to kind of go over the reticle real quick. This is a download straight from the Leupold website. You can see how the 10 mils, the 10 hash marks, and in is illuminated and nothing else. So it's not like overly bright in your face. There aren't all these crosshairs that you would hold over that are illuminated, making it super busy. That's it. It's just a cross and it's just 10 mils. So very, very clean reticle. It helps you see your field of view a lot better without being crowded with other things. And this is a very specific reticle, specific scope. You're not going to use this for ultra long range. You're not going to use it for super close up. We had to do a bill drill at about 7 yards and the 2.5 magnification was just a little bit too much for that distance. And the reason why I got this Reptilia mount is because I'm going to mount a red dot either on top or at 90 or on the side at 45. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet to kind of offset for that 2.5x that you're dealing with at close range. So I would say that the effective range of this scope is probably like 20 or 30 yards. I wouldn't go any closer than that. If you're going to do this for like close quarter combat, I would not use this scope. I would use a red dot. And then if you're going all the way out, I hit 200 yards easily without doing a holdover after I zeroed it on the long range, but I would probably stop around 500. So on the reticle, back to the reticle page, you can kind of see that after 10, over here on the right side, after 10 it goes every 2.5 mils all the way to 30. So as long as you're not holding over too much, you can get it done. But if you're starting to hold over for windage left and right, that's when you're going to run into problems. That's when you're going to have to adjust for your windage. But the problem with that is you'd have to take this turret cap off to adjust. It isn't something that is exposed. So it just depends on how you want to run your rifle, what type of competition you're doing. And that is along the lines of match prep, which I want to do another video on, just so that kind of go through the steps of match prep for specific matches. But back to the scope. The weight on the scope was another factor. It's not overly heavy. It's very light. It's 21 and change, which is virtually the same weight as my previous setup, which was a UH1, the Vortex UH1, and a flip out 3 magnifier, also by Vortex. So this is my fourth scope setup for the Patriot games. I started with just a red dot. I moved to an LPVO. I didn't like the reticle on the Strike Eagle 1-6, and I said it earlier, I said it in other videos, I just don't like the way LPVOs look. I think they look stupid. That's just my opinion. So I went with this one because it's a little flared. Get a little extra magnification. And this is the final setup, and this is what it's going to be forever because this is just a fantastic scope. The shooting in the Patriot games was fairly simple. It wasn't overly difficult. We didn't shoot from extended distances. We shot from within 100 yards and within. A lot of the shots were from like 50 yards, but they were under heavy exertion. And I missed a bunch due to exertion and due to being on the lowest portion of the barricade. You couldn't go prone. You had to be in a very low crouching position to get on that lower part of the barricade. So that's why I missed. But once we started going up, I didn't have any issues. At the end in the mini Murph, we were doing a popper, flipping a hostage target over, and I hit those with relative ease. The only thing I will say about the reticle is when I do have my plate carrier on and I'm putting the rifle in the butt of my shoulder with the shoulder straps of the plate carrier, I definitely felt it canting a little bit, and you could see that in the reticle. You could see how it was not level. So when I kind of noticed it, when you're not shooting from super far and it's basically just focusing on the middle of that crosshair, it doesn't matter much, but as you start going out, it does make a difference. So when you're shooting from 20, 30, 50 yards, it's pretty straight on for cant. But once you start getting further back, that's when that can throw it off a little bit. But overall, this scope exceeded my expectations. I cut down on a lot of rifle misses that I have had in the past, and like I mentioned, this will be my scope moving forward forever. There's no reason to change this scope. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Leupold Mark 4 HD 2.5-10 with the TMR reticle. We'll see you in the next video.